be frustrated. It's totally normal. And I'm hoping by the end of this video, you'll feel calm, restored, and you will know that everything will be okay. Because it will be. I know that sometimes it really doesn't feel like your situation will be okay, that you will reach a state of peace, that the problem you're dealing with won't be resolved, but it will be resolved. You will find some peace and comfort. And just know that at the end of the day, you did your best. It's hard. Life is hard. And you have to not put so much pressure on yourself. You have to do what you can. Do what you can control. And then everything else, it's like Matthew McConaughey in The Wolf of Wall Street when he's like, it's fugazi. Like, that literally is it, though. Like, you can do what you can control, and everything else is fugazi, whatever he said. And, I don't even mean to make light of what you're going through, at all. Me personally, I find quite a bit of peace and comfort and joy in comedy, which is not the best, but it's how I personally cope with a lot of things. So, if that's you, maybe put on a comedy movie, maybe call up a friend or a family member who also has, dark humor or copes with humor, and have a good laugh about the situation. Laughing is so good for you. Yeah, it's okay. You can smile. We can laugh. Again, I don't want to make light of your situation by any means, but if I can put even just a little smile on your face, that's something, right? Like, that's progress. Okay, but anyway, everything will be okay, and I'm hoping this video will calm you down. The majority of this video is going to be a little exercise that I personally do on the regular about things you can and cannot control. And it sometimes can be hard to find, to create that list of things that you can and then cannot control, but we're gonna try. I first, though, just want to take a second and have a few deep breaths together so we can relax our body. So first, just sit back. Also, I look like a colonial woman right now. It's like a dress and it looks a lot cuter when I'm not sitting down. But I was just out at dinner and I didn't want to change. Okay. So first, just sit back. Release the tension in between your eyebrows. Good. Release your jaw, your clenched jaw. Just gonna let it hang. Relax all of your facial muscles and your shoulders. Just, up and down, up and over. Good. Now we're ready for our deep breaths. In through the nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Then out for 4 seconds. That's what I personally do. There's no science to back this up, but I swear by it. Okay, ready? In. it's not the biggest problem in the world. I know that. But there's, other work stuff too that I'm not going to really get into. That was just one small example that I need to work on, what I can and can't control with that, because sometimes I get really worked up with work stuff because I do want to do my best and be a contributing team member. Okay. Now, I want you to think of that, and then I want you to, in your head, if you're not watching a video, if you're not watching this video or another video or not doing anything, I actually suggest you physically write it down with a pen and paper. I physically write mine down in my journal, in my notebook. I literally physically write it down. If you want to do that right now, please feel free. Otherwise, just think about it in your head and try this exercise tomorrow with a pen and paper. Okay, so think of that issue, and then I want you to say what you can control in that situation. So with my work, I can control showing up on time if I go into the office, but if not, if I'm working from home, show up to meetings on time. I can physically show up. I can mentally show up. I can be there for my other coworkers and my boss and my team. I can put in hard work. I enjoy hard work. I enjoy my job. So putting that in, working a little bit harder, doing a little extra research, a little extra busy work, if that needs to be done, really give it 110%. I can do that. I can control that. I can put in the work. That is in my control, to give the effort, to put all the effort into it. I can control that. Okay, what can you control with the situation that you're thinking of? Maybe it's work as well. Maybe it's your partner and you are having a disagreement. Maybe it's financial. Maybe it's something with your house. You have to buy a new water furnace or whatever it is. Maybe it's something with your kids. Think or write something that you can control. It can be hard, but we just have to think about what we can control. Even if it's as simple as writing a to-do list, or as simple as thinking about the people involved, or thinking about the next step to getting to that goal at work, or getting to that goal at school. Or it can be very, very small. Very, very small. Very, 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 very small. Okay. Now, I want you to think adversely at something you cannot control with that. So for work, I can't control who leaves and who stays at the company. That's their own decision, their life, their career. I cannot control that. I have to let that go. Let it go to the universe or God or whatever or whoever you believe in. And if you don't believe in anything, totally fine. Just let it go. You cannot control it. So I cannot control who stays and who leaves. I cannot control the higher ups or the company, at the top level, right? I'm down here, they're up here. Not that I don't ever have a say. I do. I work for a very nice company. But in the grand scheme of things, I cannot control what the C-suite and the higher ups do at the company. And I can't control, on that same line, I can't control what my coworkers do. If they put in their full effort, if they don't put in their full relationship with them. I can't control what they do with that, right? Like, that's so far out of my control. So I'm gonna let it go. It does no use thinking about it. What is something that you cannot control with your situation? Maybe you can't control when a decision you're waiting for happens. Maybe you can't control how your neighbor deals with their dog or their kids. Maybe, anything. There's a lot of things that we cannot control. Okay, we're gonna do another one. Now, this is kind of moving subjects for me, but you can stay on this particular problem, what's ever getting you very, very worked up. You can still think about that issue and find another thing that you can control. I'm going to kind of switch gears. You do what feels right. So with friends, I sometimes get in my head and very anxious about relationships or friendships that I have that are not with friends that are not in my city or state, because I love them and I want to be friends with them, but I can get really in my head about, are we equal friends? Are we drifting apart? Are we getting closer? I care so much about my friendships, and and it's important to me. So, something I can control is reaching out to them, texting, calling, FaceTiming, Snapchatting, Instagram DMing, whatever it is. I can reach out to them. I can visit them. I can, try to plan a weekend or a week or whatever it is, and try to visit them. I can also be there for them. I can make sure that I'm available and say, hey, I'm free Monday and Tuesday between 4:30 and 7:30 if you need to talk or if you want to catch up. So be there for them. I can make myself available. Prioritize, that friendship. And just kind of like put in the work for that friendship. I can do that. What I cannot control, and again, this can be either about a particular situation that has you anxious or something different. For the friend thing, I cannot control who reaches out to me. There's physically nothing I can do to make a friend call me. I can't control how they feel about me or if they want to reach out. Similarly, I can't control if they want to visit my city or state or not. I do think there's different seasons of life that friends pull a little bit more slack than the other. Maybe because one friend is struggling with work or their partner or their kids or whatever, then the other friend does have to pick up the slack, right? There is seasons of life which there's a balance. But in general, I'm talking about big picture. I would love for it to be 50-50 of people reaching out to me reaching out to them, but I can't control if they do or don't. And I've really had to let that one go because I feel it so hard and it's so heavy on my heart when friends don't, but I need to let that go and just really think, is this friendship going to drift away? Which you have to make peace with, and that's a whole other video, but it is possible to make peace with that. There's also a balance of maybe we find a weekend to meet in a city or state that's between ours, like a common ground. That's an option too. Anyway, it's just me deciphering with friends. This is what I can control and do. situation. Physically cannot control. Let it go. Just think about what you can control. Write it down. Then think about what you cannot control. Write it down. And then leave it. Once I write my can't control list, which sometimes takes 30 seconds, other times takes 30 minutes, I write it down, close my notebook, leave it, continue with my day, go to work, go on a walk, go have dinner, go read a book, whatever it is. You just gotta physically see it and then move on. I know it's easier said than done, but it is possible. Okay, let's do a third one. Again, this could be with your situation that you're still thinking about that has you very overwhelmed right now, or it could be something else. I'm going to switch gears a little bit again and talk a tiny bit about money. Not very in detail, but tiny bit. So, I'm going to start with what I cannot control in this situation. I cannot control my income. I cannot go to work tomorrow and say, pay me more. I can ask for promotions. I can prove myself. But that has to do with the other things that I, wrote down that I can control. And right now we're talking about cannot control. So I cannot control that income. I can work hard to make more, but right now, today, making this video, I cannot go into work tomorrow and demand more money. I also cannot control the bills I have to pay. I have to pay rent. I'm part of a lease. I have to pay my phone bill. I have to pay for water, gas, electricity, Wi-Fi. All of these things are set, and I have to pay those. I cannot control that. That is, some bills you can lower it or higher it, but these, I'm in a lease, I'm in agreements, I cannot control that. What I can control with money is watching my spending. Maybe I don't go out a night or two 1 week to save that money. Maybe I do go out, but I don't buy drinks when I go out, so I save money and not drink alcohol. That does save a lot of money. Maybe I like to go on a lot of weekend trips. Maybe I cut back on that for a few months and save that money. Maybe I let go of a streaming service that I haven't been using a lot. Cancel that. Maybe I'm not going to go clothes shopping for an entire month, which I have done, and it's hard, but you can do it. I can do it. These things I can control with money. And so, just some things to think about and an exercise to do to calm yourself down and see that something that you're stressed or anxious about, a lot of it is out of your control. A lot. And that's okay. And, the things that you can control, do your best. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Show up, do what you can, and then let the rest go. Take that time to write it down, think about it, close that notebook, and then walk away. Leave it. Let the universe or whomever, whatever, stuff